Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all having a fabulous evening. Tonight I'm going to be doing a review of an action film from Indonesia, Indonesian language, English subs, released in the year 2011, directed by Gareth Evans, and this film is called The Raid. Now this comes with a limited edition slipcover in Australia, which is really cool, and the DVD cover art was pretty cool as well. So the story to The Raid is as follows. Deep in the heart of Jakarta's slums lies an impenetrable multi-level safe house for the world's most dangerous killers and gangsters. Until now, the rundown apartment block has been considered untouchable even to the bravest of police. Cloaked under the cover of pre-dawn darkness, an elite SWAT team is tasked with raiding this safe house in order to take down the notorious drug lord who runs it. But when their cover is blown and news of their assault reaches the drug lord, all the building's exits are blocked. Stranded on the sixth floor with no way out, the unit must fight their way through the city's worst to survive. So the movie takes place in Jakarta, which is a city in Indonesia, and it centres around an apartment complex that has been abandoned, that is now run by the worst criminals in the city. So the tenants in this apartment complex, most of them, the majority, not all of them, but the majority of them are criminals laying low from the law. And it's run by a drug lord. Now this drug lord, he allows these criminals to hide, but in return they have to pay him money from whatever they do in crime in order to pay for the rent. So he's kind of like a father figure to all of these criminals, and as a result of that, he's treated as a bit of a god. So for so long, this apartment complex has been regarded as a no-go zone for police. It's just regarded as too dangerous. And up until now, they have never even thought about taking this drug lord down. So one morning, 20 elite special forces SWAT members, they decide that they're going to raid this apartment complex and put an end to the rule of this vicious drug lord. So in order to do this, they sneak inside the complex under the cover of pre-dawn darkness. And initially, their plan was get in there and with as little difficulty as possible, take the drug lord and arrest him or kill him. Either one, they're going to try and put an end to his reign. So it all seems to be going along smoothly up until they get to the sixth floor, and this is where their cover is blown. And it turns out that the drug lord, he says to the tenants through a radio that whoever kills these cops, they will get their rent free. So that's a big incentive, and as a result of that incentive, most of the tenants in this apartment complex want all the police dead. So the police officers, the main character is a rookie, a very young rookie, who is very skilled at the martial arts. And so he has a family on the way. His young wife is pregnant, so he has a lot to look forward to. But he along with his colleagues, they find themselves in really, really deep water as everybody in the apartment complex wants them dead, and they basically have to fight through 30 floors of hell to get out of here alive. So that's all I'm going to tell you on the actual story. If you want to know more, please go out there and have a look at this film for yourself. Now, my thoughts on the movie. This one comes with so much expectation. The hype has been incredible. It's been regarded as one of the best action films ever made, so I was a little bit hesitant and skeptical coming into it. I know that that can be a recipe for disaster. If I build something up so high, expectation levels so high, more often than not, the movie doesn't reach that expectation. Fortunately for this one, it does exceed all expectations. This is as good as the majority of people are saying it is. For an action film, you will never see a better film than this. I actually feel that this is better than Rambo, and it's just done in such a way that I actually love the fact that it blended a few genres. Now, it's an action film, but I do feel it doubles as a horror film because there is enough horror element in there to warrant it as a scary sort of film. It is an action movie, but it does have a certain level of atmosphere. There's a very tense atmosphere and there's a lot of suspense in it. And there are a few scenes that really did feel like a horror set piece. So horror fans, you will appreciate stuff in this movie. I thought the build-up to the carnage was superbly done. You knew it was just the calm before the storm, and when the storm does hit, let me tell you, it hits. It is a really, really high-impact action film, and it does deliver everything that it promises to. Now, character development, there's only about 10 minutes of character development, which, very surprisingly, it actually works. The main character is very likable. You gain a connection with him. Not due to the fact that he has such a likable personality, but due to the fact that he has so much to live for. His wife is pregnant, he's got a kid on the way, you can tell he's a kind-hearted man, and it was really surprising to see that with such limited approach as far as characters are concerned, you got a connection with the main character. So when the bad things start happening, you really feel sorry for him. So it's really rare to see that in action movies these days, especially from Hollywood, but the director has managed to throw in just a little bit of emotion for the characters. So when those bad things happen, you really want him to see him pull through, as you do with the rest of the police officers, because there is a big difference between good and bad in the film. So it's a little bit exaggerated, it's a little bit black and white. The bad guys do all the bad things, good guys do the good things. But then just when you think you know what's going on, it has a little twist at the end that I'm not going to give away, and it kind of throws everything on its head. So it's got a level of unpredictability as well, which also makes it well worth the watch. Soundtrack, very, very well done. It's a very techno-y sort of dance soundtrack, but it's done in a way that really does suit the action sequences. So, the director really knows what he's doing. There is a lot of, it's reminiscent of a lot of older films, such as Die Hard and The Horde, which is very surprising. It's a French zombie film. But the director has made it clear that he has a lot of respect for movies like Die Hard, and that he has taken elements from Die Hard and put them into this film. But the good thing about it is it's not a rip-off Die Hard. Yes, it does pay homage to Die Hard in certain areas, but it is a film of its own, so don't worry about that. Now, the acting, very good. Yes, some no-names from Indonesia. Indonesia is an up-and-coming country as far as cinema is concerned. They made some very good horror films, and now they're making some very good action movies. Now, where the movie does exceed, obviously, is in the action sequences. And as far as action sequences are concerned, there is no movie better than this. I rate it better than Rambo 4. I loved Rambo 4, but I just felt that this movie had me on the edge of my seat more than Rambo, which is saying something because, Rambo is an absolutely brilliant movie. Now, the fight scenes, it's in the Silat, which is an ancient martial arts native to Indonesia, so it's something a little bit different. But at no stage do the fight sequences, although it's one martial art, it doesn't get repetitive. The director kind of makes a story in the violence, and after each scene of violence, there is a different one, and it keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it does exhaust you. So the fight sequences have a lot of psychological impact as well. And just the way that they're shot, it really does take the energy out of you as a viewer, which is something I really appreciated as well. So you can feel that the actors, you can feel what they're going through and how tired they must be. And that creates so much more tension. That was another big, big surprise. Now, the choreography, absolutely fantastic. Some of the best looking fights you'll ever see. So fluent. Continuity, absolutely fantastic. There are no cheap tricks. A lot of Hollywood action films, they kind of cut away or do close-ups, so you're not quite sure if what they're doing, they're being a bit lazy or whatever. But in this movie, the director lays back, and he lets the fight take place in front of the camera. It's from a distance, so you can just see what these guys are doing and how good the choreography is, and just how dangerous making this film was. A lot of head hitting, a lot of stabbing, a lot of shooting, a very, very violent film. I'm very surprised that it got an MA15 plus rating, which shows you how inconsistent the classification board here in Australia is, because this is a lot more violent than most R18 films. So don't let it fool you. The MA15 plus is not warranted. I felt that it warranted an R18. Very violent, very brutal, and gorehounds are going to like it, because there are some scenes involving axes and knives that were quite hard-hitting and even surprised me. I knew it was a violent film going into it, but I wasn't quite aware that it was going to be just as violent as it actually was. Now, villains, I really like the villains as much as I like the main character. Exaggerated kind of villains, but the villains had a personality of their own. The henchmen weren't just cardboard cutouts. There was actually a group of bad guys who were a group of men with machetes who were very, very vicious. And each scene that they were in, that's where I thought the horror element came into it. So, yeah, the villains had a presence on screen which really, really sent a chill down your spine. So, the ending, very rewarding. It kind of leaves the door open for a sequel, which I hear they are actually doing, which is really cool, because if the sequel is anything like this the first one, then it's going to be something to really behold. So as a result, I feel that this is a masterpiece in the action genre. It blends a horror in it as well, so take that into account. And if you're a horror fan, then I'm sure you'll get something out of this one. So absolutely fantastic, brilliant filmmaking. Brilliant action film. I feel it's the best film of the year so far and the best action film I've seen to date. So 5 out of 5, absolutely fantastic. Alright guys, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.